Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99 back on the fight front. Once again, make sure y'all subscribe. Well, tomorrow's fight night. This is one of the rematches I was really looking forward to, man. Between Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo. As you know, last year when this fight took place, this was a fight that upset a lot of people. A lot of people were on the fence about it. Tony Harrison, he was able to pull out a unanimous decision over Jermell Charlo, and throughout the year, I watched the fight several times. I probably watched the fight like, I want to say 5 or 6 times, and out of 3 of those times, I felt Charlo won. There was a couple times I felt the fight was a draw, but there were some times I had Harrison winning. And when I go back and look at it, it's really nothing to be like really upset about, because you can kind of see how Harrison might have won the fight in a lot of people's eyes. I still felt Charlo won, or did enough to keep his belt, and I felt Tony Harrison didn't use enough aggression to pull out a solid win. But it was 3 judges. It was 3 judges that had Charlo losing this fight. And going back to this one here, man, I think that Jermell Charlo, he's going to be taking a different approach in this one. First off, going back and looking at the first fight, as far as like the pace of the fight for Charlo and for Harrison, it definitely favored the boxer. It definitely faced the more the taller, longer fighter, which was Harrison in that fight, because a lot of the times I felt like Charlo was kind of waiting. There was too many rounds where he was just kind of standing in front of Harrison and not letting go, and he wasn't really finding that clear distance where he could get off his own jab and land that overhand right solid. There was a few times he did in the mid rounds where Charlo was able to land those big overhand rights and some left hooks that hurt Harrison, but there was also some rounds where he was winging them shots. He was winging them, and Harrison was just getting the hell out of it. He was able to go right back to that jab, and Harrison, that was his key to win that fight last time. It was that jab. Going back and watching that fight, I really noticed like the jab of Harrison was really dictating a lot of the pace of the fight. Every time Charlo was waiting, Harrison was getting that long jab off and moving. He was just popping the jab straight up the middle. That jab helped him win the fight. Also, set up his own right hand. He never really hurt Charlo. I think he stung Charlo a couple of times where, kind of woke Charlo up and made him say, damn, he's actually, getting the one up on me in these exchanges. But overall, I thought that Charlo, he was closing the distance and, landing his overhand right at times and, applying better pressure. But like I said, there was a few times I did have Harrison winning. Like I said, I kind of watched the fight in different modes in my mind. Like, never watched it with the commentating on, but I just kept watching it, different things. Like, it all kind of depends on what you're looking for. And going into this fight here, this rematch, that's why, just for this very reason that a lot of people have with trying to go back and, really figure out who won, for Jermell Charlo, he can't leave the fight in the hands of the judges. Tony Harrison, he was satisfied with his performance, last go round, but of course Charlo, he wasn't. So in order to make that, in order to make it an open and shut case, he has to score a knockout this time. He has to do what he was doing in those mid rounds, but he has to do that times 10. And also Charlo, he's going to have to really press the action this time. He's going to have to go triple G on Tony Harrison. He's going to have to stalk him and cut the ring off. He can't let him go. He's going to have to work the body more. He wasn't really setting up enough body shots. Tony Harrison, he's going to be a little bit slippery. So when the head is moving, you go straight to the body. You go down to the body, you feint to the body, and you feint like you're going to the body, then you go up to the head. You got to give the boxer different looks if you're going to be the puncher. Charlo was playing the puncher the first go round, so he's going to really have to, not be a one-dimensional type puncher. You got to be that type of puncher that knows how to stalk, how to set the traps, and how to land your own counters also. Every time Harrison steps in with the jab, you got to be able to counter over the jab. So there's just a lot of things that Charlo kind of didn't capitalize completely off of. There was just too much waiting in those early rounds where I think those judges had Tony Harrison building up the solid boxing lead. Yeah, so I think for Tony Harrison, well, for Jermell Charlo has to get started early. Like I said, Jermell Charlo has to get started early, or Tony Harrison is going to build up that solid lead again like he did the first go round. So he can't show him any respect. Charlo and Harrison, they hate each other. You can see it. There's bad blood. They cannot stand each other. There's never a press conference that these two can just kind of talk civil. I do enjoy these exchanges though. I mean, it's not like I said, it's not really like ignorant craziness or just throwing the chairs, slapping the face. Well, there was almost a slap. There was almost a slap that last press conference, but yesterday. But other than that, I like this energy they got. It's a true rivalry. They can't stand each other, and one feels like he's better than the other. And last year when this fight took place, Tony Harrison, he bested Jermell Charlo. So the best thing for Jermell Charlo to do is, like I said, he's got this time around, he's got to stalk forward. He's got to be that guy, like I said, like Triple G, where he goes in there, stalks him down, walks him down, and go to the body early and use that overhand right early that he was using in the first fight. Once he clips Tony Harrison that one time, he's got to follow up. He's got to go to the body, then go back up top to the head and go for that knockout early. He's got to build that type of lead and just take him apart and knock him out. For Tony Harrison has to do what he did in the first fight times 5. And I say that because I kind of feel like if Tony Harrison, I'm just being honest now, like as far as boxing politics go and how judging might go this time, not to upset everybody, I kind of feel like if Tony Harrison does exactly what he does the first fight, he might wind up giving the fight up. He might wind up giving it up or making it a draw this time, because you never know how boxing politics are. This time around they might say Charlo had the better aggression, had the better the more damaging punches. You know what I mean? They might try to go that route this time. So Tony Harrison, he has to really make it convincing now that he's the champion, which sounds kind of messed up, but I think that's how it's going to go. Where Tony Harrison, he's got to one up himself from like last time. So Tony Harrison got to start jabbing early. Make those jabs count. Set Charlo up and counter over the top with his right hand, and also time those rushes if Charlo steps in and hit him with the uppercut. He's got to use those uppercuts and get out, and then just kind of fight tall like he was doing the first fight. A little bit more faster pace. But as far as my prediction goes, I think, like I said, man, the way Jermell Charlo, he's kind of been talking, and the way Tony Harrison's been talking, that energy with these two, I think, like I said before, I was telling some people, Jermell Charlo, he's not really like the. I think Harrison, he's kind of winning the verbal exchange the verbal exchanges in this one. I think Jermell Charlo, he's a little bit, he's kind of letting Harrison getting into his mind a little bit more. So I think it's going to more so kind of showing his performance as far as like how pissed off he is at Tony Harrison. So hopefully he's going to transition in that energy and not fight angry, but fight smarter. Fight smarter and try to get the redemption from the last fight. So my prediction, I'm going to go with Jermell Charlo, probably by like late round stoppage. I think he's going to walk Tony Harrison down this time, be a lot smarter, time the jab, and he's going to back Tony Harrison into the ropes this time around, and counter over the top with that right hand. And it's going to be an overhand right or the left hook that knocks Tony Harrison out this time, or stops him in like the later rounds, probably like 8 or 9. That's mine, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tony Harrison's able to go the distance this time, but I really don't see it this time. I think that Jermell Charlo, he's going to home in with that right hand and take Tony Harrison out. Can't leave it to the judges. But yeah, that's all I got on this one, guys. Let me know in the comment section who you think's going to win, Tony Harrison, Jermell Charlo. Yeah, man, this is going to be a big one for me. I'm loving this one. It's going to be on Fox. It's PBC Fox. It's a free fight, so check it out. Make sure y'all subscribe. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Peace.